The show is brought to you by our generous patrons at patreon.com/Fallout Lorecast.
Robots Radio presents the Fallout Lorecast.
Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, a place for the Fallout community to come together to explore the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. All right, everybody, it's that time again. Time for the Fallout Lorecast, and it is the patron episode for this month, January, and I am here with some of our tier 4 and potentially higher patrons, and we are talking this week about the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood of Steel, the everybody's favorite group of ironclad soldier guys that wear funny suits and talk about weird titles. And with me, as usual, first of all, I'm Tom or Robots, and with me, as usual, is Lainey. Lainey's here, my co-host. How's it going, Lainey?
Oh, it's going good. I'm covered in cherries.
Yeah, she's got cherries all over her shirt. We're live again. It is Monday night on twitch.tv/robotsradio at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And we have an interesting cast of characters here this week. We have, let's just go alphabetically through them. We have Fire Rider returning. Fire, how's it going?
Hey, doing all right. How are you?
Good. She has her Ghoul Lover shirt on for her stream. This is looking awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, which Lainey helped design, I hear.
Lainey did design. I did.
Very cool. Very cool. And then we have Nighttime Smith. Nighttime Smith is joining us. Welcome.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you guys?
Good. I like all the flags behind you. You've got a NCR back there.
I like flags and I like maps. Got a couple of custom stuff. I'm also wearing my Vault 76 Vault suit.
Nice. And I see, is that Nuka-Cola up on the shelf behind you back there?
Yeah, I made those from Cokes. I got Quantum.
Oh, nice.
Nuka-Cola Cherry and the regular Nuka-Cola.
Very, very cool. Yeah, we have a Quantum one for when they were part of like Jones Soda made some. They were like a Target. Yeah, we got one of those.
I rebottled mine. I put it in an original Coke bottle.
Oh, nice. Well, very cool. Well, welcome. And then we also have joining us for the first time, Pie Man. Pie Man, welcome to the show. I don't know if Pie Man is here.
You.
Oh, there he is. His video went away, but his voice is still here. Pie Man, how's it going?
Good.
Pie Man's a longtime listener and now a truck driver who is a first-time Tier 4 subscriber. I appreciate the support, buddy. You good? Okay. I can't see you, so I don't know if you're going to respond or not. And then we have Saber again joining us. Saber, welcome back.
Hello.
How are things? How's life?
I went from 2 work days a week to only getting 2 days off a week.
Oh no. So. Well, that's a big flip. I mean, 2 days off a week is kind of normal, right? That's good.
Yeah.
Right? Unless your other days are just absolutely crazy busy, like you're working, 16 hours or something.
It's not that big of a deal. It just surprised me all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, that's good. And then returning again is Victor. Victor, welcome back.
Hi. Yes, I'm here.
And then Victor also has a Ghoul Lover shirt. Looking good.
Yes.
Looking good.
Definitely worth the purchase.
Team Ghoul Lover over here. Well, very cool, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. We may have other people pop in as we go. A number of people couldn't make it today. And if you didn't make it today and you would like to send me a little snippet or whatever, I don't know if you're watching us live or for some reason you didn't make it, but if you are a member of the tier 4 or higher patrons and you don't make it, you're always welcome to record a little bit that I'll add into the episode later or a future episode. So why don't we kick this off, guys? We're talking this week about the Brotherhood of Steel. They've been a big focus in Fallout 76, which is of course the ongoing regular content that they're putting out. They've been in every other Fallout game. They are a major focus of the franchise, and they've been represented in different ways in different games. So I thought it would be not only interesting, but also timely with so much of the Fallout 76 content now focusing around the return of the Brotherhood to Appalachia, or at least the coming of the Brotherhood to Appalachia sort of return. And some of the details that we deal with in Aperture is just responding to Discord right now. I had some psycho corner me and rant at me for the last 40 minutes. Holy crap, I have no idea what's going on. Hopefully he can make it to the stream. Can somebody shoot him a note and say, hey, come join us? But what I wanted to say is in Fallout 76, we have this interesting dichotomy between some of the characters who definitely show different interpretations of what the Brotherhood is about and the way they go about achieving their goals. And that is very interesting to me because that's the way a lot of things work in the real world. Just because you have kind of marching orders or a philosophy doesn't mean that the way you achieve that is set in stone. It can be very different. And like we're going to discuss in this episode, potentially, sometimes those marching orders change with time or with different leadership and different perspectives, or even an individual who changes an opinion over time. So why don't we kick this off? I want to throw out an idea. I'm going to throw out some questions during this discussion. And you guys, if you would like to chime in, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll unmute you. Or, you know, if I can't see you physically, you can kind of pop in at some point and say, hey, I'd like to say something about that. But to start this off, why don't we talk about the origins of the Brotherhood and the way it started? And I know Victor specifically has dug a little bit more into that stuff. We did some episodes on that a long time ago, about 2 years ago now. And Victor, what did you come to as you've now kind of looked back at Roger Maxson and the origin of the Brotherhood and the initial philosophy?
So, to go actually a little bit further back before the actual philosophy of the Brotherhood of Steel, the reason the Brotherhood of Steel came about is because of the Mariposa Rebellion. Just a quick reminder for everyone, that is when the armed forces at the Mariposa testing facility, where they were testing the FEV on war prisoners,
right,
was occurring. Roger Maxson found out. He was captain at the time, that was his rank, and his other captain apparently just locked himself actually in his bunk until very close to the end, and just before Roger went into the room, he killed himself. But essentially the entire contingent mutinied, and I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to say in Hi Aperture.
Hey, welcome, Aperture. Yeah, we've already started the show. You feel free to join us. I hope everything's working out technologically for you.
Oh my god, I've had a psychopath ranting and raving at me for the last 45 minutes. I'm sorry I'm late, guys.
Or humanly worked out for you. That sucks. I'm sorry. Well, make yourself comfortable. If you can get the video working, then you're welcome to do that as well. And if not, that's fine. Victor is right now talking about the pre-origins of the Brotherhood and some of the stuff that went on at Mariposa that kind of formulated some of their the origins of the group. So go ahead, Victor. Sorry.
It's okay. So I'm not sure what they were trying to say in this, but it was saying that the group of armed forces seceded from the military, which is not actually a thing. But presumably they're just saying we are an armed force, but we are no longer part of the United States military, because it's become very clear to us that the United States military knew what was going on when they ordered us to do this. And
right. Yeah, that was always my interpretation of, like, secede is maybe not the right word, but they openly mutinied. I guess you could say that. They
definitely did.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because the reason why, besides just being testing human experimentation on war prisoners is generally a bad idea, it is literally against international law. I ended up doing a lot of research into the just following orders, Nuremberg defense, all of that stuff, most notably known as the Nuremberg defense, due to the tribunals for Nazi war criminals. And actually, I found out in more recent times, it did go all the way down to lower tier guards who were being charged with crimes against humanity because of their complicit nature at the camps.
Right.
So it's not just Roger himself who would have been at risk, but his every man below him would have been at risk of coming under the order of war crimes if anybody ever found out about it. So them mutinying due to the way military oaths are, presuming they didn't change all that much during the Fallout section of that time period, literally require them to disobey those orders.
Oh yeah, I mean, this would have been huge had the United States government not collapsed, and they would have had to deal with the repercussions of this. They would have been brought up on all sorts of charges for sure.
Or more bombs would have dropped so that America didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that up. Is it's not just them disagreeing with their orders. It is them, by their own beliefs, following their overstanding orders to obey the law.
Right.
And then when it comes to the original concept, a lot of people, just due to the fact of the way the Brotherhood of Steel is displayed in 3 New Vegas, 4, and now upcoming possibly with 76. I apologize for the shaking. It is very cold in my apartment.
No worries.
It's seen as, dumb civilians can't handle the technology, so we're going to take it all. That is not what they were founded on.
Mm-hmm.
In my reading, in checking with the Falloutpedia, which, of course, Tom, you've used them before as a reference, they're generally pretty good about sourcing everything.
Yeah.
The purpose was not to keep it away from people. It was to preserve this technology so that when humanity gets to a point where they could benefit from that jump in technology to get closer back to pre-war technology for the good of mankind, it was, the word being used was a catalyst to bring us back to that level of prosperity.
Right.
The issue happened is they began working, the West Coast contingent started working with the NCR. They were known as powerful because they had all of that technology, especially power armor. And they grew powerful, and then they grew complacent. And out of nowhere, the Enclave came up with, I'd say out of nowhere, but to them, came out of nowhere with even more advanced technology. And that kind of shock to the system, and of course centuries, literally centuries of change, led that philosophy of saving it for later to saving it from humanity. And
right.
Maybe this is a bit of my predisposition towards the Brotherhood of Steel, but also a bit of a sense of we're better than them because we know how to use the technology. So that's really where it's kind of going over, is that change in philosophy, and of course the really historical meat of why they actually did rebel.
Right. So this leads me. Do you have some more stuff you want to add in? Go ahead.
Despite my dislike for the quote-unquote modern Brotherhood of Steel, what we see in 3, etc., I actually have a lot of respect for Roger Maxson. He did an incredible job of keeping the Force together, while one of the things I noticed was, it's actually stated, he created the Brotherhood system of paladins and scribes to completely divorce themselves from the United States military. Because part of the fear was, if they kept those ranks, the Enclave could easily take them back over because they would be familiar with the ranks of the United States military.
Sure. And it's also a psychological distancing as well. If you're a lieutenant and you keep calling yourself a lieutenant, then it still feels like you're part of the same military group. But to all of a sudden call yourself a knight is a very different thing.
Completely different thing. So overall, that's really a good bit of what I found out about the origin, which is not as clearly displayed in the 3D Fallouts compared to possibly what's in 1 and 2.
Right. That's a great that's a great summary. So my thoughts on this lead me to the question of, at the time of the bombs dropping and the formation of the Brotherhood of Steel, and this, I'm going to open this up to anybody. So if you want to chime in, go ahead and raise your hand, or if you're just on audio, politely say, "Hey, I've got an idea," or "I've got some thoughts." If there's kind of a gap, how do you guys feel about that initial, I don't know, statement of purpose? I don't know what to call it, but this idea of it is somebody's job to collect all of the technology and hold on to it for a time when we're ready to use it again to bring humanity back to prosperity. Do you think that's a noble thing? Do you think it's a viable thing? Aperture?
I think it's actually kind of a arrogant, selfish thing. They've got the firepower and the training, and they have a noble goal, but they think that they're the only ones that can handle this. White knighting is a very what's the word for it? It's a very like I'm the hero in this situation. Please do not resist us saving you, and we will save you by force if necessary. Kind of like, you get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of the leadership has taken it that way before. Yeah. Like some of them have very much done that, and that connects to some of the dichotomy that happens in Fallout 76 between. It's a similar dichotomy for those of you who are more familiar with 3 and 4 of the Lions Brotherhood and the Maxon Brotherhood. Lions Brotherhood was much more inclusive. They had the means and the power, but they weren't against opening themselves up to bring other people in order to share that with other people and be more inclusive about it. Hey, we might be the ones who have this ability right now, but that doesn't mean that we're the only ones that are supposed to have the ability and the power and the technology. Victor?
Well, that's
actually something that I actually slightly left out. Is originally when Roger Maxon created the Brotherhood of Steel, it was welcome to, you could join and become an initiate.
Right.
It's sometime between after Roger Maxon's death and pre-Fallout 1 that they closed ranks and they stopped accepting outsiders. So for the original purpose, when they were still accepting outsiders, and keep in mind, it's not just the military training. Most of humanity got completely wiped out, and those who may be skilled enough to help with rebuilding, most of them are in vaults.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you're in the military, you aren't just trained in battle. Part of the reason why they were able to create the scribes is because you are taught a lot of maintenance, and with such a highly mechanically based military, there's radios, power armor, electric, EMP weapons, energy weapons. Mm-hmm. They would have enough of the basics to be able to preserve technology, not just in the sense of maybe not using it, but maintaining it.
Right.
Anybody who has a car can tell you, just keeping a car in a covered garage, in a closed-off garage for 20 years is not preserving that.
You're not going to maintain it. It's not going to run 20 years later. Yeah.
It's not gonna.
Right. You have to have maintenance to it. Right. So back to the question of the Brotherhood of Steel, the Lions. Let's do the Lions philosophy of being more open, or the Maxon philosophy of being more closed. Aperture, are you saying that the Maxon philosophy, the more recent Maxon, the Fallout 4 Maxon philosophy of being more closed and, hey, we're the only ones who can handle this, you inherently have a rejection of that. What about the Lions perspective? Do you think that there's still a certain, hey, we're still the special ones thing going on there?
I don't have as much of an issue with the Lions' method of doing things because, like you said, they're more inclusive. You're still kind of holding. It's kind of like holding a cookie over a hungry dog, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you'll eventually give the dog the cookie, but right now you've got them snapping at this. This safe life, these resources, this food, this shelter, your hierarchy of needs.
Sure.
You see all these power armored folks walking through the wasteland. Wow, I'd like to join them. And you have the opportunity to join them, but if something is keeping you from joining them, you're not, you're irradiated to the point where your brain doesn't work so great, or you're not physically strong enough to be a foot soldier. You're still kind of held back. They're really a humanitarian organization from what I've been able to see so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm getting with that kind of deal?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that has to do with short-term needs compared to long-term needs, and who gets to make that decision. Like long-term needs don't mean a damn thing if you don't live to see those long-term needs. Right, and that's where it all comes down to perspective, right? From the perspective of somebody outside of the Brotherhood who can't be part of the Brotherhood or doesn't want to be part of the Brotherhood, then those short-term needs are definitely going to trump the long-term needs in a situation like living in the wasteland, because you've got raiders and creatures and radiation and lack of food and all of the lack of water, all of these things. The short-term needs are definitely going to trump that. But you take a group of people who are surrounded by a support structure and have the means to get the food and protect themselves and do whatever. And then all of a sudden, those short-term needs of the other people may not seem as important as the long-term needs of the keeping humans going in the long term kind of thing. Because and I'm not saying that I side on any of these things. My job here is to offer different perspectives in order to get the conversation going. So from the perspective of somebody in the Brotherhood, they might be thinking we could be helping these people, but then we're just going to stew in our own lack of ability to rise out of this muck. And so in some ways, those people are worth sacrificing in order to make sure that we can actually eventually get humanity out of the muck again. It's one of those, like, do the means justify the ends kind of philosophies, right?
Yeah, that brings you around to the trolley problem right there. Is it worth sacrificing these 5 wastelanders right here? They're going to live in muck for the rest of their lives, but the Brotherhood will carry on. It's great for the people in the Brotherhood, and I think at its core, the Brotherhood could and does do some fantastic good for the wasteland. But, having an apple with a strong core doesn't mean much if you have to bite through 2 inches of rot to get to it, you got all the analogies tonight.
Yeah, let's open this up to some of the rest of you guys. Do you have any other thoughts on this? Anyone else want to chime in? Anyone else? Yeah, go for it.
Let's see, what I wanted to say was I like that the Brotherhood of Steel is a little bit less inclusive because of the power that it has. It's not like they're keeping, agricultural, technologies or stuff like that. They're talking about stuff like nukes, access codes to military systems, stuff that
power armor, laser weapons.
Yeah. A lot of these people are living subsistence lives. It'd be great if you could distribute weapons, but if you guys played the new 76 stuff with the Brotherhood of Steel, half the time you're spending the playthrough trying to get back weapon systems that nobody's trained to use, nobody has the capability to use properly, and ends up getting a lot of people hurt. The problem is that I see with a lot of the Brotherhood of Steel stuff is that they are so powerful. If they do get involved, they end up being either kingmakers or they end up controlling controlling the region. And with the Maxon Brotherhood of Steel, after the events of Fallout 3, they kind of became a regional power. And I guess that wasn't so bad because they were distributing water freely. Mm-hmm. But you still get into a situation where it's a closed-off order, it's not an open system of government, but yet they still maintain a lot of power. And that's kind of worrying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's... you do have I don't know, go keep going. Go ahead.
Is it kind of better that they don't get involved in other people's issues and they keep, high-tech military, they keep stuff that a lot of people can't use or don't know how to use away from people that are just trying to farm. They're just trying to carve out an existence. Now, you compare that to something, I know this is kind of off topic, but like Followers of the Apocalypse. They go around and they teach a lot of stuff that helps out a lot of these tribal people, mm-hmm. gives them the ability to either make medicine or grow food better. Some of these people don't use that technology properly, and you end up having people like the Great Khans, they end up making drugs instead of medicine.
Right.
So that's always the concern that you have stuff with like that. But I don't really see the Brotherhood of Steel as somebody that's like, we're going to hold back food and this stuff because, technically that's what Lion's Pride did, is that they distributed water. They tried to take out the super mutants and try to make it a little bit easier in the wasteland for a lot of people.
Right. Let's go back to Aperture because he was kind of talking. It looks like you've triggered a response from him.
Well, you see, with Lion's Pride, yeah, you're absolutely spot on this. But the trouble is this really, really, really falls upon who's in power. If you'll think back to Maxon in Fallout 4, you're given a quest from I think it's the quartermaster there in the little shop there, and he basically says, "We're on the airship. We have no way of farming. We need food. Go secure food from the local farms," and then he kind of, by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. And you are then tasked with, it's a very high skill check to be able to get the food legitimately, or you basically threaten them. The easy way is to threaten the farms. So yeah, they do. Not only do they hold back the food and the water from the locals, but they actively take from the local farmers and settlements and people just trying to survive. So it really depends on who's in leadership. You've got a guy like Lyons who is beloved by the people around, but then he's vilified by the following leadership and a lot of the followers of Brotherhood of Steel. So, it really depends where and when you're at.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the RPG elements too. You can either go in and buy the food. I mean, a lot of the settlements that you went to go get food, they were the settlements that my character player made. So I can easily give them 500 caps, or I can talk them down. But I never saw the point in threatening. I think that was more of an RPG element rather than the canonical behavior of the Brotherhood.
I was never given that. I did that playthrough maybe 3 times, and I've never been given the option. Like, it was always on the edge of the crater there, and it was never I never had the option for a peaceful transition.
Really?
To food. Yeah, it just never. That might be a quirk, like a glitch in my save file, but it just never came up for me.
Because it was 750 caps, or I could barter them down to 500 if you had a high enough charisma check.
Yeah, Victor, do you have something about this?
Yeah, so on the one hand, I think the fact that, yes, the Brotherhood of Steel is gleaning, to put it politely, off of the local populace when it comes to food and water. Also saying that while they're only holding back things that people may not be able to use. Well, that's not strictly true. A lot of what they're holding back is energy weapons. And when you live in a society where raiders are basically the mafia down the street who you pay $50 so they don't break your kneecaps, put it quite bluntly,
yeah,
having the access to weaponry to protect yourself can be vital to maintaining your ability to get food and water through your own subsistence living. So in a way, by preventing these people from having access to even possibly just like well-maintained vanilla weapons like 1911 handguns or your basic cartridge firearms.
Ballistic firearms, yeah.
Ballistic firearms, thank you. By preventing the populace from having access to that, you are basically at least decreasing the amount of food and sustenance and water that you can create for yourself, because if you can't protect it, they're going to take it. On the other hand, I would also say, though, that there is plenty of evidence in various different cultures where the equivalent of giving possibly energy weapons to your common settlers these days in Fallout would possibly be comparable to, say, providing rifles to the various samurai warlords at the end of the Sengoku Jidai in Japanese history. It's, they might be able to protect things better, but then also there's a whole bunch to it, and it's very much a what's going to happen when you give those high damage weapons to people who may not know quite properly how to use them or will overuse them, so to speak. And I can see Aperture wants to say something.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, that's the gun argument all over again. That's the, it comes back to a polite society is an armed society, or fewer guns you have out there, the less gun crime there's going to be. So I think it translates very well to a very, very highly debated topic in today's society.
Oh, certainly. And that's part of what's fun about the Brotherhood in general, is that many of these things actually resonate with current day society in a lot of ways. The gun topic, the concept of who gets to make the decision. Is it the rights of the Brotherhood to make the decision for other people, or should the other people all have the choice to, take the risk of dealing with high explosive weapons or whatever, even if they weren't trained on them? That's a very libertarian versus I don't know what's the flip side of that, where the word's falling out of my head, but like this idea of is it the responsibility of a governmental system or some sort of system to make those decisions for the people, or should the people be able to make those decisions for themselves? Like, where is the line there? And I mean, all of these things are very good current day debatable topics for sure. So, all right. So I feel like we've hit this pretty good. Anyone else have any thoughts on this specific point before we move into anything else? And those of you who are on voice chat who aren't in video right now, feel free to chime in as well. So nothing else about that stuff. So this leads me to another question, and I think there's we kind of hit on it a little bit as we were discussing it, but let's do a little thought experiment here. Would the Wasteland be better off had the Brotherhood never formed? Think from all the way back from Roger Maxon. Laney's got some thoughts on this. The Brotherhood never forms. Would the Wasteland be better off? In this case, this would be the extreme of the weapons end up in the hands of whoever happens to be able to get them, right? Extreme on that side of the end of things. What do you think, Clay?
So, I mean, there's a couple ways it could go, right? Is like, you could end up in a situation where someone else just takes up the need to fulfill the same thing, and all the weapons end up in the hands of someone who is terrible. You know, it could go that way, or it could be something better than the Brotherhood, or anything else. The issue with like debating, would it be like it's not a simple black and white answer. Like it is going to be better because the Brotherhood is or isn't here, because something will fill that place, even if it. Am I still here? Okay.
Yeah, you're still
even
here.
if it comes down to everyone somehow getting their hands on something, right? Like, would that allow for the Wasteland to kind of moderate itself? Would they moderate themselves? Probably not, because humans are crazy. So, like,
Right.
It's just, you would just come up with something else to, like...
Does it turn into somebody ends up hoarding, whoever is strongest and meanest ends up taking everything anyway? And therefore, you don't even have an organization like the Brotherhood. You just have the great cons.
Or you just have a different organization fulfilling the same need for like another organization that's already there, be it the Enclave or be it literally anything else. A single gang of raiders that decides that they're in charge.
Right.
You know,
Right.
someone
Because
else might
the people
claim
with
that.
power end up being the people within power, and they end up with a worse philosophy than the Brotherhood. Right. And that's kind of where you're going with that. I know Victor and Aperture wanted to chime in here, but I want to give anyone else who hasn't had a chance to talk yet the option to talk first. If anybody else wants to. Fire, do you have any thoughts on this? Or Saber's here? You guys? No? Fire, you're muted still.
Sorry,
there you
I was
go.
trying to add you. I don't know what I accidentally did there. Okay. It's so hard to answer that because of the way that it morphed over time. Because if you ask that question in 21, 20 or whatever the hell it is, and versus if you ask that question in 2287, you're going to have like very different answers because you're looking at such incredibly different versions of the Brotherhood of Steel. So if you want to take the very, very long view.
Yeah, let's talk in the long term. In the long term of the way the Wasteland seems to evolve all the way to Fallout 4, which is the latest date that we seem to have anything on. Do you think the Wasteland would have been better off without the Brotherhood there at all?
I think in that case, yeah, because the Brotherhood seems to like deteriorate so much over time. And it's like every time we encounter them, they seem worse off. And I mean, that could just be an effect of a little bit of Flanderizing going on. But they just seem to really become so insular and, dare I say, fascist by the time we get to Fallout 4 that I don't think I'm ever going to argue for pro-fascist organizations.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Saber, do you have any thoughts on this? I don't know if Saber's going to chime in or not. Oh, there you go. Unmuted.
I'm kind of just here for the ride.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll hang out. And if you feel like you want to say something, then go ahead and jump in. All right. We've got Aperture and Victor here with some thoughts. Actually, everybody's got some thoughts. Nighttime, why don't we jump to you because you haven't had a whole lot of chance to talk yet either.
The easy answer is most of the player characters in the entire series wouldn't have the help that they would need to complete the game. In the first game, you need to find the Brotherhood of Steel in order to get power armor. to track down the Master. They also sent a unit to destroy the remnants of the Master's army at Mariposa military base. Fallout 2, they helped you along to try to find Vault 13. Fallout New Vegas, they weren't really that important. They were kind of this, very
kind of a tertiary faction.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't interested in any type of control. What they did want was Archimedes 2, the weapons program. Other than that, they really didn't care, other than just have it a piece with the NCR. And then, of course, Fallout 3, if they weren't around, you wouldn't have been able to defeat the Enclave because nobody else was capable.
Right.
And then Fallout 4, if you chose to play with the Brotherhood of Steel, I mean, there's several options you can use to destroy the Institute if you so choose. So
right, that's an interesting point. So if we go back to Fallout 1, if the Brotherhood's not there, then two questions come to mind. One, does the Master just win outright, and is the world just turned into super mutants and humans eventually go away? Or two, is there another organization that would have had access to power armor and the ability to stop the Master, that would have risen to power in the absence, in the, you have a vacuum here, right? The Brotherhood's not there, but that doesn't mean power armor's not there. It doesn't mean that the technology's not there. Where would that technology have been? Victor?
The Enclave.
The Enclave, you think? Victor? You've been waiting.
So I think Lainey hit on it pretty well. Of if the Brotherhood does not form, there is a power vacuum.
Right.
And I would actually argue that either the Brotherhood or something very like the Brotherhood has to form. Because one of the several of the groups that we know of that end up becoming factions over time, I'm thinking not just about the Brotherhood of Steel, but also the Responders, came out of pre-formed organizations. The Responders were built up of EMT and firefighters. Somebody like the Brotherhood is inevitable, just simply because of the background that we have during the pre-war era.
Do you think in Fallout 1 that would have been the Enclave?
No.
You don't think the Enclave would have, in the vacuum, taken the opportunity to claim a lot of the weapons and power armor and things for themselves?
I think it really depends. The Brotherhood of Steel isn't necessarily based on just Roger Maxson. So if we ask the question of, well, what happens if there's not a Brotherhood of Steel? There will still be members of the United States Armed Forces at forts with nuclear bunkers who would have survived.
Do you think they would have been part of, say, like the NCR in that case?
Yeah, and then at that point, the question is where do their loyalties lie?
Right.
And that depends a lot of very nitty-gritty politics that would have happened just as the bombs dropped. And Roger Maxson wasn't silent when he seceded. He broadcast what happened to every armed forces that he could on any band he could.
Right.
So it's not unreasonable to think, this is a well-respected captain. He was in charge of security at this very important place. I trust him because he's taken the same oaths as I have. He's gone through the same training I have. And he's telling me that we committed war crimes. I'm not exactly going to believe the politicians over a man who went through the exact same shit I did in training to become a member of our armed forces. Now, whether or not they follow the same creed as the Brotherhood is another question entirely. But something like the Brotherhood would inevitably form out of the armed forces, out of the civilian organizations like the Responders, possibly the police. I mean, looking... Sure. Not being political about it, but with how much military access the modern police force has, it's not even unreasonable to say that something like a semi-civilian group, like police...
Well, in a command structure. Yeah, for sure.
So, it's not... It's like I said, I agree with Delaney. It's not a black and white thing, because you've got the power of vacuum, and then you've got the fact of... There's already organizations that we're still maintaining as the bombs fell because they did have protection that was not controlled by Voltec. So I apologize for rambling that long, but I hope
you definitely got to the point, and I think you've definitely triggered a response by Aperture. So, Aperture, what do you think about all that? He's just nodding his head. Now he's smiling.
Well, first and foremost, I agree with you that What? Oh, I might be on. Am I lagging?
You're here. You're here.
Hello?
You're still here. We can hear you. Can you
Am
hear
I
us?
still muted?
No, you're good. Thumbs up, buddy. He's having connection
there we
problems.
go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're good.
Gotta love cheap Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I gotta agree that organizations like the police and all that would form up to fill the vacuum of the Brotherhood. I was still in their infancy when say like the Master was going on. The NCR wasn't really a thing. It was, you know, a group of ragtag settlements of steel. The Master would have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Enclave would have stepped in to stop them because they were too busy trying to eradicate all mutants, not just one specific evil mutant. I really genuinely believe that without the Brotherhood of Steel. Having said that, I feel like the Brotherhood of Steel is an organization that needs to exist, fill their purpose, and then fade away. You know, I don't think that they should be a permanent organization that's always present.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really live off your past glories, you know?
Yeah, and pushing their original agenda to like let's consolidate all this technology, then let's use it to kickstart the human race back to where we're going, rather than let's hoard over it and use it as a means to keep ourselves safe and lord over anybody else that we disagree with. You know, like those are two very different philosophies, right? So, okay, so we've gone through the concept of like,
kind of like exactly what Fallout wanted.
Yeah. And what's interesting here is that these philosophies kind of overlap a little bit from each other, right? Like the Brotherhood taken to an extreme would be the Enclave, just flat out. You know, these different organizations, they match and they connect in different ways. So with that being said, if you were, let's put ourselves in, I always do this, but let's put ourselves in the shoes of somebody who is risen to lead the Brotherhood. Let's say that you're in, it can either be in Appalachia or, you know, early on, or it can be in Fallout 4 towards the end of it. In fact, let's go down that route. Let's go down the Fallout 4 route because more people have experience with that. It's been 200 years. The Brotherhood has gone through a lot. The Brotherhood is still very powerful. And let's say you succeed Maxon in Fallout 4. You become the leader, and it is now your job to do with this organization whatever you think is best for the wasteland. What do you do? What do you differently, and what do you do the same? Is there a way to take that organization and make it work for the greater good and balance the individual current needs of the people who are suffering and the long-term needs of the human race? Like, what do you do? What decisions do you make? Is there a way, or is it even possible? Is this like an impossible task? Victor?
So my first act is the fact of stop it. Synths are people, ghouls are people, shut up.
Uh-huh.
But besides that, the act of preservation has already been almost completed by the time we hit Fallout 4. And anything that can at that point be preserved, be it knowledge or technology that needs certain particular maintenance, that job has been completed. And so, in my opinion, at that point, that's the time for the Brotherhood, instead of holding inward and making sure they have all that knowledge together, that is the time for the Brotherhood to open outwards. Not in the sense of accepting everybody, but educating the masses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to start a focus on educating and I get what you're saying here. This is what happened with Charlemagne after the fall of Rome. And yes. Victor studies history too. Charlemagne was one of the first emperors to come about after the fall of Rome, and was uneducated himself, could not read and write, but created laws after uniting much of what was Gaul back then, right? It was France. Mm-hmm. And united them and issued and practiced every night himself on learning to read and write, as an adult, which is very difficult if you didn't grow up learning these things, and then instituted laws that brought about schools and education across the population that was no longer under Roman rule and didn't have the classical training of Rome. So you're saying that would be the way forward, is to take their power and open up opportunities for the regular people of the wasteland to come educate themselves, to come participate in what they have and get involved. And do you think that the wasteland would be receptible? Receptacle is not the word. Receptive?
I believe that they would, and this actually draws back to a conversation I ended up having with somebody in the Robots Radio server several months ago about why didn't the infrastructure just survive after the EMP blast? And I stated it was because there was a lack of trained personnel. Mm-hmm. Well, in the Commonwealth, as far as I can tell, it is way more populated than other Fallout games. There are just physically more people. Mm-hmm. Which means part of that holding this knowledge for the good of humanity, military bases have to be completely self-dependent in some ways. So they could educate the masses on how to start up the power plants, how to start up the water filtration, the sewers, electricity, things like just making sure that everybody's accounted for so that if a kid goes missing, they actually know to go look for them. A lot of basic civilization infrastructure needs could be educated out of the Brotherhood of Steel. And on top of that, if you allow them to educate at least basic self-defense, they can begin to work away at the raider problem, so to speak, as people can defend themselves. And also there might be raiders who, well, shoot, I can make a better living doing less work, but working in a water plant. Bye.
Yeah.
So that would be my purpose, is to kind of go back to the original purpose of educating the masses on this technology for the betterment of mankind.
Right. Lainey, you raised your hand. Did you want to jump in there?
I was just thinking, and we're all kind of saying the same things right now about this, because I think we all agree that it either they have to turn outward or they need to fulfill the role of some sort of government, right? And it's exactly what Victor is saying, where like they have all the technology, they have all the information. What are they going to do if they just keep it, right? It becomes fascism. It becomes they have all the power and no one else can do anything because that's where it is. And so if they don't turn outwards, what is the point? What is the point of having all of this technology? What is the point of having all the information if you're not going to share it and actually turn the world into something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Aperture?
I'm going to take that a step further, and I say they either need to turn outward or go back to their original, well, semi-original philosophy, like what they're doing in New Vegas, and return to complete isolationism. Because for the longest time, the Brotherhood of Steel was an isolationist organization. They lost a bunch of power. They said, all right, to hell with all y'all. We're going back to our bunkers. We're going to eat our canned beans,
right,
and that's it.
We're just going to lock down. And you guys are good luck. Good luck out there. We're going to take care of ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, so they either need to go outward and go to a degree of communism, mm-hmm. and, which, they would never allow in Fallout world. But either go out or go in. They have to play their hand completely. None of this wishy-washy, well, we're going to be in our bunker when we feel threatened, but when it's convenient for us, we're going to come on out. No, that doesn't... You don't make friends that way.
Yeah. So, here's another question. The Brotherhood in Fallout 4 gets a lot of grief, and, rightfully so, for being anti-anything that's not human, right? Anti-ghoul, anti-everything, right? Assuming that they were pro-ghoul, they were more inclusive, the next thing that really shows up on their list, like the big mandate, at least that the thing that resonates, or at least that I recall the most about the Brotherhood in Fallout 4, was this mission to cleanse the wasteland of dangerous things. This is one of the reasons why they're anti-synth and anti-ghoul, right? Is because they see them as dangers to humans. Now, if we were to tweak that a little bit and say, they're okay with synths, they're okay with ghouls, and they have a mission. Their mission is not necessarily to rule. Their mission is not necessarily to re-educate, but their mission is to be a force that roots out and destroys dangers in the wasteland. Do you think that could work? And do you think that it would be a good goal to have? Let's go to Fire, because Fire hasn't chimed in a little while.
I think it would really, you don't just come into another country, I guess, for lack of something else, and say, hey, we're here to help cleanse.
Exterminate. We're going to exterminate all the beasts.
Bad thing to do, and even if you're going after, the more dangerous creatures, you still don't really do that without checking with the locals first. That's just...
Uh-huh. Now, assuming they were to, they didn't,
type behavior.
Right? Assuming they didn't just like fly in, like let's say they go to Diamond City and they drive up and they knock on the door and they say, "Hey, Mayor, so and so, whatever his name was, we're here. We're not going to take any of your stuff. We don't want any of your stuff. We're not going to recruit from your people, your members. We are here. Our main job is to stay here for the next few months, however long it takes, in order to root out all of the most dangerous creatures and destroy them. Because we are basically now an extermination force trying to make the wasteland safer again. And we're not going to attack humans. It doesn't matter if they're raiders. It doesn't matter if you have like a debate with some other settlement and you guys are having problems. That's not our job. We're not joining you with that at all. But, please let us know where the locations of, death claws tend to be locally, mire lurks, anything that is of a significant threat, and we will root it out and we will kill it. And all that we ask for you is some cooperation and, and if you come across a Brotherhood member in need, please give them a place to stay. Like we're here, we're going to help you, but that's it. We're just doing this because that's our mission, because we think that's going to make the world a better place.
Honestly, I would be suspicious because what's in it for them? Nobody's ever completely altruistic. That's just completely... That's not how the world works, and that's definitely not how the Fallout world works. So if somebody came to me with that offer, I would absolutely be wondering what their end goal was and if they're trying to take me for a ride. I would never believe that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what if their end goal was, okay, and in order to do this, we have priority on any newfound technology. Please keep your hands off.
I'd still have a lot of questions.
That seems like what they're really looking for, right? That's the ask. Yeah. The ask is like, by the way, like that radio tower over there, you guys can't go there anymore. That's ours now. That nuclear power plant over there, you guys can't go there anymore. That's ours now. Anything we find in the bowels of that building, right? Like, don't even ask. This is now ours.
I'd be very afraid then of them coming in with this. Hey, here we are to solve all your problems. Oh, by the way, now we're going to hoard all the technology. And look how powerful we just happened to get.
And lord over you. Right. Yeah. Interesting thoughts. All right. Aperture. And it's like everybody all of a sudden wanted to chime in on that one. Nighttime, did you have something? You haven't chimed in a minute.
Yeah. That's not too dissimilar what they did in Fallout 3. They wanted to wipe out as much as the super mutants as they could, because to be honest, it's not like they're just doing it just to be altruistic. Yeah, it's a serious problem for the people of the wasteland, but you can't operate in an area where you have, hostiles. If you're trying to if you're trying to look through all these military bases and you're trying to discover a lot of technology, it makes it a lot harder to conduct sweeping operations when you're dealing with, super mutants. It's not like they're just doing it for fun. It makes it a lot easier to move stuff around and, because otherwise you have to have combat teams everywhere. Mm-hmm. You have to double up the amount or triple up the amount of soldiers you have on each mission rather than just dealing with a local group of raiders. You know how much ammo you need to put down super mutants. It's insane.
Right. Victor? You're shooting guns in the air. Victor?
So there's a couple parts to that. One, with the nature of the question of what is a person in Fallout, as been discussed with synths, with ghouls, and with situations like Curie or
androids. Yeah, robots. It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, I don't know, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable, and I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
There are sane super mutants. I love the nanny in Fallout New Vegas. I love Strong so much in Fallout 4. I will find him the milk of human kindness, I swear to God. But it's the question of what is a person and what is a monster. In the view of somebody who is trying to exterminate all of these dangerous creatures, they may not want to take the time to make sure.
Right.
Because what's the difference between a feral ghoul and a ghoul who woke up before his coffee and you've pissed him off?
Right. Or a ghoul who's just been out in the wasteland and feels threatened and starts shooting back before you even have the opportunity to have a conversation with him, right? Like, exactly. Oh, he must be feral. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, even with the exception of like Virgil, God, and then there's another super mutant who can speak normally in 3. When you've got characters like, I don't even remember her name. I just call her Nana, the grandma from Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
And Strong, they sound exactly like unsafe super mutants.
Oh, sure. Now,
but they themselves are safe.
Right. So the natural question to this then is because you come across dozens and dozens and dozens or hundreds and hundreds of dangerous super mutants, and the chances of coming across a sane super mutant is so remotely small, is it one of those? It's the question, the car question, do you switch the train tracks over question that Aperture was getting to? Is it better for everyone to just make the sweeping decisions that super mutants, no matter what, are better off dead for the benefit of humanity as a whole?
No, because that is literally the start of the slippery slope. Because if you're like, okay, well, there are sane super mutants, but most of them are dangerous, so they're an acceptable casualty. Well, we know plenty of sane ghouls, but how many feral ghouls have you killed in a particular game?
Oh, sure. And then that raises the question, though, like, would it be okay for the benefit of humanity to just kill off all the ghouls? And I know in our position right now, it's hard for me to even ask that question because my gut's like, well, of course not. But if you're in a situation where you are my apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll just finish real quick. If you're in a situation where it is the dire needs of human beings who are about to be exterminated and extinct because the wasteland is so very dangerous, do you even have the time to ask that question? Most of the time.
Depends on when in the Fallout timeline we are, because by the time we get even to 3, life is tough, but you know, you're not exactly at danger of being completely overrun by super mutants in Rivet City, so to speak.
Right.
And I would compare it as, you know, we go down that path of super mutants, you know, more dangerous than they are calm. They're more dangerous than they are calm. There are plenty of, you know, it's the only reason you can tell apart a Mr. Handy and a Mr. Gutsy is because Mr. Gutsy has that voice.
Right. Right.
To me,
is it better to kill all robots?
It's eventually going to go down to the path of, do you use the Enclave virus from 3? Yeah. That's that, because the thing is that there's only so many supplies. How can we save humanity?
Right. It leads to that. Well, and you think about how many raiders are in the wasteland. Are human, like this could even ask, you could even ask the question, are humans better off dead than not. And I think that this is exactly where you get to with a lot of apocalyptic literature, is that you end up with the in-group and the out-group. And it doesn't matter, human, ghoul, whatever, it doesn't matter. Either you're part of our in-group or you are the enemy and you are worth killing. And that's usually where these things devolve into, right, Aperture?
That is the exact same argument that the Master made. You change around a couple words in the statement you just made, you switch humans to super mutants, and you swap around their places. That is the exact same argument. So if you look at the Master and you think that he is a villain, you have your answer right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting though how the reason I ask these things isn't because I'm trying to, again, say that this is the way it should be. Everyone should just fight everybody. No, that's not my point. My point is, like Victor was saying, you've got this slippery slope. It's not actually that far to go from everybody's a person to everybody who's not me and my group deserve to die. Like, that distance, you can incrementally move to it very, very quickly, because you just have to just move that line a little bit and move that line a little bit more and move that line a little bit more. And all of a sudden you're way over here. And again, this deals with a lot of issues that we deal with in the world, like the idea of who the outgroup is. And I mean, it's a wonderful dilemma, because when we see it in these stories, it seems usually our own philosophy takes over and we go, well, clearly that philosophy is wrong and that philosophy is right. But when you actually put yourself in those situations, I have a feeling that many of us would be further on that scale in one direction or another than we actually think we might be, due to the circumstances and the dire situation and our lack of nutrients and lack of sleep and the amount of PTSD that we have from dealing with things in the wild. And maybe you were attacked by feral ghouls, so you just inherently emotionally have a hard time trusting anybody who looks like that at all. So philosophically you go, well, everybody's a person. These are people too. They look like ghouls, but they're people too. But emotionally, you have a very hard time having a conversation with somebody who looks like that, because you were so damaged and threatened by somebody else who looked like that. Same thing with the super mutant. Like, the distance from one thing to another is very, very short. You can make that same argument for raiders. Raiders look and act and talk like this. Raiders invaded my farm when I was little and killed my family. Now I have a hard time trusting anybody who looks or acts or talks like that, even if they're not a raider. Like, that's a very human thing. And yet most of us would agree that, no, that's wrong. You should take somebody as an individual and learn who they are. But it's actually, that distance is very short, and it's something that we deal with as humans all the time. And I think it's really interesting because it really does take us having to make the effort to be better people, make the effort to give somebody the opportunity, make the effort to fight against our natural emotional response in order to make the logical decision that, no, this is a person and I need to get over the fact that they look like a ghoul. Like, I don't know. I don't want to preach about this stuff, but I think that those things are very, very much connected, or very interesting. All right. Well, now that I'm done preaching about that, any other thoughts on this? So where do we end up with? Okay, Victor, go ahead.
I would state that, yet again, the question of how that would come across depends vastly on where in the timeline are you. Mm-hmm. Because if you're talking about 2087, you're going to have a completely different attitude from somebody out of 2287 due to the way that the world evolves. In 2087, I would not be surprised at all if somebody was absolutely terrified of ghouls. And then, of course, there's the Scorched in Appalachia.
Sure.
There's no context whatsoever. But by the time you get even to New Vegas, much less Fallout 4, while they are disliked by a huge amount of smoothskins, ghouls have integrated themselves into society. It's been hard run, but they've done it. Mm-hmm. And so putting yourself in that situation, it's again a point of where in the timeline and where are you? Are you a lone settlement out in out on the other side of the roaring sea?
Sure.
Or are you in Diamond City?
Right.
There's a couple of things that definitely change the attitude there, but I don't think it's quite as black and white as you may. I know you weren't trying to do anything like that, but like putting yourself in there, it's not just a black and white. I'm here. I'm in Fallout. There's a whole bunch of nuance on both sides.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it depends on the summation of all of those things. Where do you live? What time period? What are your own personal experiences? Like all of that stuff adds up to some sort of natural inclination that you then have to either go with or fight against.
Right.
And yeah,
it's just that would be something for me to just mostly say is like if you want to take that thought exercise, just remember someone in Fallout 1 is going to have a completely different life experience than someone in Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Solid point. All right. So where do we end up after all of this? Like, are we? I don't know. When you play with a game, and let's bring it up to Fallout 76. When you play in Fallout 76 and you're given the dilemma of, do you go with a more Lions-esque perspective? Do you go with a less inclusive perspective? Do you avoid dealing with the Brotherhood at all? One of the things that's interesting about the storyline in Fallout 76 when you deal with the Brotherhood is that you can actually be doing the quests and also working against them at the same time. You can go on missions to follow your orders and then say, screw it, we're going to do it this way. Or, haha, this will really stick it to them. Like, you can take those kinds of options. Where do you guys fall in that? Do you feel like it's better to go with the flow and just kind of make it as good as possible? Or do you feel like, we need to tear this thing down and I can do it from the inside, so why not? Victor?
I would state that actually, I probably wouldn't interact with the Brotherhood too much because just due to both the kind of person I am and the kind of knowledge I've kind of amassed, not super studying, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that I research into. And then just overall, the responders were there first. They were doing the most good. And so in the situation of 76, where you're talking about that, you've got the Brotherhood of Steel who's coming over, who they may have dropped all of the ranking names from the United States forces, but they still have the attitude, so to speak.
Right.
And I haven't played 76. And
they do.
Even really looked into the lore.
That's accurate.
I haven't really looked into the lore of the modern, more recent updates. But my viewpoint would be like, okay, where were you guys 25 years ago? We've already got this established of a network of people and a network of caches. We are recognizable in the Appalachia as helpful people on a personal level with medicine primarily.
Right. Well, to jump in on that a little bit, both the responders, by the time this expansion comes out, in fact, by the time you leave the vault, the responders have died. They've been killed off. The Brotherhood that was formed by Taggarty's group also died and was killed off. Both groups were were cooperating, working together, and then were unable to cooperate at some point, and the Brotherhood was holding off the Scorched while the responders were trying to come up or trying to finish their vaccine for the Scorch stuff. The Brotherhood failed and went down, and then the responders were overrun. So
I was not as aware.
Right. So in the situation that we're in now, the responders don't currently exist as a living group. There is an individual you come across in the Wasteland who is trying to start the responders back up, and she's going through the training, but she's just one person with a dog. And the Brotherhood that is there now has crossed the country from the west and is now resettling in Appalachia in order to pick up the reins of the group that was there before and continue some of the things they were doing. So that's where they're at. That makes sense, Victor? So it's a little bit different. Nighttime, you want to jump in?
Yeah, what was one of the things about the Brotherhood in Appalachia is that they had created an entire defense network, and they had kept the power plant, Thunder Mountain Nuclear Power Station, up and running to keep the power for a lot of people on that side of the mountain range. They did have a lot of restraint. They decided not to use the nuclear ordnance that they had access to try to destroy the Scorchbeast Queen. If they had done that, they probably wouldn't have been able to wipe them out. But it was like a failure of a lot of things. So you had all these different groups that were working not with each other, but trying to find their own avenues.
Kind of parallel, but not completely cooperatively. Yeah. And Lainey and I talk about that on some of the most recent episodes, how like had they actually been working together, then maybe there would have been hope for Appalachia. They could have come together and really supported things in a very coordinated way. But instead they were doing their own things. And that's why they actually all went down, which is unfortunate. So in the situation we're in now, the Brotherhood has returned, or at least this group of Brotherhood is there now. And what do you do? Like, do you work with them? It seems like you could use their help. The Scorched are still out there. You have a vaccine finally, but basically Appalachia has turned into a bunch of people who left a vault, the settlers that came over, multiple raider groups, and everyone else who was there for the last 25 years has died off. So it's all new people. So given that that's the equation, is the Brotherhood worth cooperating with? Victor?
I would say that they are worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of they're already an organization. They already have at least some kind of idea of what they're going to do as soon as they get settled. I don't know. I'm a little bit mistrustful of those sort of organizations, and so I would watch to see not only what they do, but how they do it and how they interact with the people around them while they do it. People who are not Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That would color my opinions.
Right.
They're particularly not very nice to people who aren't the Brotherhood in 76. One of your first interactions with the Brotherhood is talking to civilians for them that
Yes.
are asking for their help. And when you go to, what's his face? I can't think of his name.
One of the guys you talked to?
The main guy. No.
Oh, Shin?
Yeah, when you go to Shin,
Sergeant
and he's
Douchebag?
"Where are they
That's what I
staying?"
call
and
him.
you tell him what the civilians are asking for, he's just like, nope, next, nope, next. Like, just
If you've listened to any of the gameplay episodes, every time I have to go talk to him again, I'm asking him if the size of the stick up his butt has shrunk at all yet. Yeah. that's my.
I was listening to that the other day. It's accurate, but I understand where he's coming from just because of the fact that not only do they have the manpower, but for the Brotherhood to put themselves in a situation where they are basically doing the same thing the Minutemen would be doing, and that's something the people out there need to form their own Minutemen group.
Right.
I don't know. It's like my point of view. I think the Brotherhood of Steel is fine as long as they stay out of everybody's way. The reason that they're back in Appalachia is because that observatory is the ability to control the weather.
Right.
And that's not something you want. They're trying to catalog that and figure out how it works. Eventually, that'd be a really nice thing to have. You could, make sure it doesn't snow too much. People have good summers for crops. And
it solves a lot of food problems.
Yeah, especially in that region where there's lower radiation. But it's like when I was playing the Steel Dawn, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but you get to this turning point where you can either follow the one person that adamantly adheres to the tenets of the Brotherhood, and then you have the other person that wants to forego all the tenets of the Brotherhood and then put themselves in a situation where they become the regional power structure, and then they take control of everything in the region. They distribute aid, they distribute resources, and that's what you can and you can either subvert all their efforts regardless, but it's odd. I like the tenets of the Brotherhood because you're not really putting yourself in a situation where you're controlling how other people are living their lives, and you're not making people dependent upon you. You're just doing your own thing, and you're just left to your own devices, where the other way is like, okay, now you're doing the Minutemen's job. You're putting yourself in the position of a military organization that has no over-governing structure, which is dangerous. Because if you get the wrong people in, you're basically a glorified raider group.
Right. Yeah, power is very dangerous in a place where there's things are very not leveled. The playing field is not level across the way. Yeah, it's interesting. There's not an easy answer, which is what makes this stuff interesting. And every situation in each of the games is a little bit different. The balance is a little bit changed. Anybody have any closing thoughts on any of this? Kind of getting to the end of it. Aperture?
Power corrupts, and total power corrupts totally. My thought on the Brotherhood. They are a group with a lot of power, and when they start out with an initially an altruistic plan, it will inevitably lead to them abusing the power that they get.
Yeah.
That's why I believe that the Brotherhood of Steel should exist, do what they need to do, and then go away.
Yeah. I have to wonder, in a situation like in any of these situations where you have the Brotherhood and let's say they're recruiting, would you be able, let's say you're growing up a poor farmer in the wasteland, you find out the Brotherhood is recruiting, would you be able to turn that down? You know the hardships of the wasteland. You know,
of course not.
Yeah, you know that like you could be part of this group. It'll be a dangerous life, but it'll be a dangerous life plus power, armor, and laser weapons. That's more than you have as a farmer.
Would you and should you are two very different questions.
Oh, very different questions. But I have to wonder how many of us would turn that down.
I know I wouldn't. I disagree with them, but I know, sure as shit, you got one situation where you have a toilet and a shower and a suit of power armor, and you have a situation where you have a potato farm.
Yeah.
Seems like an easy answer to me.
Right. And Crystal mentions, and they have scientists too. I mean, your role could be different, but the point is that one of those two situations, you're more likely to survive longer in one than the other, right? Nighttime, did you want to jump in?
Was it there in the Steel Dawn update? You do have the option of taking a couple of recruits, and I refused them because they were just two farm kids. And
you refused both of them. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think they had any business coming with me. You have a character that I've been playing for so long, and then you take two kids off of a farm away from their parents. And I don't know what these kids' capabilities are, but I thought it was really irresponsible to take these two children and put them in a combat situation with me not knowing anything about them or what they can do. And so I just told them no. I'm like, stay with your family.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool. Victor? Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead this night.
I was going to say that one kid, though, that had the accident, the other thing, I think that'd be a better candidate for the Brotherhood. Obviously,
one of them... I don't want to go too spoiler with this stuff. One of them was more physically adept, and one of them was more mentally adept. That was kind of the big difference between the two.
But the one kid that had the accident, I think he'd be a better candidate for the scribes. Because he was extremely technical. Right. He had made a mistake. Right. He didn't have any business, handling weapon systems, but if he could reprogram terminals and he could do a lot of stuff, and he could find a new life.
That's kind of the split there, is like, do you take the one that could be a fighter or the one that could be a scribe? Like one's going to be obviously going to go in the night track and is going to be out there in the field, and one of them is going to go the scribe track and do that stuff. That's kind of the dilemma, but you went with neither, which is interesting. Victor?
Just on parting thoughts, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and the Brotherhood of Steel was made with good intentions. But the original mandate was vague enough that it could be altered later in time, as shown with Lions, as shown with Maxon, as shown with Father Elijah. And overall, you end up having an organization overall that when you're talking about the day-to-day or possibly generation-to-generation actions, it's less about the mandate and it's more of who's in charge and if you agree with them or not. And that's what colors everything. Because with Lions, you did have detractors. Mm-hmm. I always remember them for some reason. I always forget what they're called. But Father Elijah was kicked out. And I'm not sure if we had any dissenters on the Pridwin. Likely not, because it was the Pridwin. But you have the Brotherhood of Steel not acting on a mandate or overstanding orders. You have the Brotherhood of Steel interacting with the rest of the Waste on the basis of, well, this is who's in charge, and this is what they think, so this is what we're going to do. Or, this is who's in charge, this is what they think, I think they're wrong, we're going to do something else. Mm-hmm. And that's how the Brotherhood acts on a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year basis. And I don't think that's good for any kind of organization. At least with the Minutemen, you have this idea of creating a community, which could be passed down from leader to leader.
Right.
But the Brotherhood, it's too vague.
Yeah. Cool. Any other last thoughts on this? Fire?
Well, I think that the Brotherhood is a really good warning because we've seen it time and time again throughout history. What happens when one person with gnarly ideas and some charisma gets up in front of everybody else and says, this is what we're going to do, and everybody just follows along without really considering it.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to make everything better for everybody. Like, yeah, anytime someone says that,
deteriorate.
Warning, warning sign. Yeah. Yeah, totally. All right, guys. Well, this has been super fun. Thank you for joining me again. I think this conversation went some really interesting directions. I think we're able to take a look at it and, dig into it in ways that I think were really, really cool. I'm glad you guys joined me for this episode. Why don't we go back through anybody who wants to talk about how people can get a hold of you or any projects you're working on, share anything like that. Feel free to do that. Let's just go back. Let's go backwards through alphabetically. Victor, you got anything going on or ways people can get a hold of you?
Well, not only am I part of the Robots Radio server, but also if you follow Firewriter's fantastic podcast, I help out there as well. And so if you have any kind of interest of talking about video games and history and or literature or just the ways that video games become a little bit richer because they relate back to things in our world, just at me. It's Victor with a K, and I will give you as much time as I can at that time because I love video games and I love history, and that's
two great flavors that taste great together.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Nighttime?
If you want to get a hold of me, just get me on Discord. Other than that, I play this game, that game. I know you guys are on PS4. I still haven't gotten around to getting a copy for the one downstairs, but I'm mostly on PC. So
yeah, I'm mostly on PC. Yeah. Some of these guys are. Do I play what?
Do you play regularly with some of the other people in the group?
I'll play it during the day sometimes when I stream live. I really jump in with other people, but I'm not against it.
I play a lot with other people on PC.
Yeah, Lainey does.
Work,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's the dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if ever you do turn it on and you see me in game, feel free to join me or follow me into a mission or whatever. Cool. Like, I'm not against it. Sometimes I'll be actually playing on my old computer downstairs so I can sit in the room with my wife, and I don't have my voice set up there, so I might not be able to chat, but we can definitely run around together for sure.
Just tell me where to shoot.
Yeah, like really, just like, hey, let's go do this event. Okay, cool. And I'll give you the big thumbs up emote, and then I'll do the barf emote. We'll dance like a robot a little bit. It'll be fun.
It works.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. All right. Firewriter?
Hey,
sound stuff.
Oh, sorry. Technology is hard. Firewriter all over the place on Twitter, on Twitch, on PlayStation, on PC, on whatever.
On the Pixel People podcast?
Yes. Pixel People podcast.
Yeah. And Fires, we've got, you're 5 episodes in now? Is that it?
Dude, 8.
8. Why was I at 5? Am I thinking of something else? 8 episodes. Holy crap. 8 episodes in. You're 8 episodes in. You're part of our Rocket Club, which is growing. We now have 4 shows as part of the Rocket Club group, which are up and coming new podcasts. And your show's been growing too. You showed me the little graph the other day of like listeners moving up. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Also, because she won't say it herself, the last 2 episodes with Danny Shirago, the voice of Hancock.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
Go listen to the Pixel People. You'll hear Hancock's voice actor on 2 episodes. Pretty awesome.
And 2 people here as well.
Yep.
Not at the same time, obviously, but.
Awesome. Yeah, and go check out her streams too. She streams mostly evenings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm West Coast, so after I get off work. So
Right.
West Coast evenings.
West Coast evenings. Well, cool. And then Aperture, whose video is coming back on. Aperture, what do you got?
Well, first I'll stop choking on my tea. You can follow the Canuck in a Big Truck on all the social medias at aperture_flash. That's APERTURES_FLASH. You can find me on Twitter, which I'm really trying to build right now, and 5 out of 5, I would recommend my Twitter. But that's just me talking. Shockingly little gaming content, but there's a lot of photographs, and I think they're very, very pretty. you can also, I have a Twitch. I almost never use it. But you can hear me rant and rave on that from time to time. But if you really, really want to get the message across to me, write it down on a piece of wax paper in crayon, and take a lighter and burn it under the full moon. Next week, I'll make my tea. I'll tear open the tea bag. I'll drink the cup down in one swig, and I will read your message in the tea leaves. And I'll get back to you on Discord.
Do crayons write well on wax paper? It's like wax on wax. I have to imagine that doesn't work very well.
Why don't you send me a message and find out?
We'll try it out. I don't know. Aperture is creative enough. I think maybe you're the mechanist.
Look.
Can you do it? You can say I'm the mechanist the way the mechanist does it.
Okay, you know what? I've actually got something planned out for this.
Did I hit on something?
Maybe. I am the mechanist! I only screw my raps when I am pissed! I am the mechanist! Fake ass rappers gonna get dissed! I am the mechanist! My shiny metal assets gonna get kissed! I am the mechanist! All the Twitch streamers going down the list! I am the mechanist!
Wow,
I am
keeps
the
going.
mechanist! Try to beat me and you're gonna get the mecha fist! I am the mechanist!
I love it. All right, well, we solved that issue. We now know who the mechanist is. That's hilarious. That was great.
Thank you.
We should. We're gonna have somebody clip that. Somebody clip that and share it on social media. Send it out to my account and wherever else. All the other accounts.
The only reason that I have not put that on Twitter is because I don't know how to put it over a beat.
Oh, well, then you can't be the mechanist. You have a laptop, right? Do you have a laptop?
I think so. I'm on it right now.
Yeah, right. You got a laptop with you. Go get what is it, Audacity? It's a free program. You just put one track and then put another track and then just export it as an MP3. That's all you got to do. That's enough. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, that hashtag inspired that little poem right there.
That's awesome. Anyway, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, then you're not on Twitter. But go on Twitter and go follow any of our accounts. There's some ridiculous rap battles happening. Go check it out. It's hilarious. All right, Lainey, I think we're down to you. What's going on? Anything to share or talk about?
Oh, you saved the best for last. No.
Are you going to rap for us too?
No.
Oh.
Wait, so you're not the antagonizer?
The antagonizer?
Antagonizer. Hello.
You should become like the mistress of mysteries or something, and then start and just jump in. I could be who's the who else is on the Unstoppables? Grognak. I could be Grognak. Grognak has to talk like he's got to talk like Arnold, right? Right? I could do like a Grognak Arnold voice. Anyway, you're the mistress of mysteries. I'm Grognak. We're gonna do it. Don't tell anyone.
Hush, hush.
Hush, hush.
But yeah, you guys know me. Someone clipped it.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal.
But yeah, I stream pretty frequently. I used to do it almost every day. I'm like getting back into that. But like, as you guys know, I moved and then I was sick for a long time. But we're good. We're back in the swing of things, which is awesome. And what else? I don't have a whole lot else going on right now. Mostly just streaming. But you can reach me here on Twitch as Neos Pandora, or in the Discord as Neos Pandora, or you can hop into my Discord if anyone's curious about that. It's a Neos Pandora server. So you can just search Neos Pandora on the internet, and I'm sure that I will pop up somewhere, and you can find a way to reach me if your heart desires. Also, Sushi says hi, because she keeps walking on my keyboard.
Aww.
Everyone say hi to Sushi.
Hi, Sushi.
Please tell Sushi that I love her. I love her completely.
She's
Let her know.
Incredible.
Love her
and she
completely.
feels your love, and she loves you too. She's tiny. She's almost a year old, and she's the size of a tiny kitten, and she will never get bigger. This is it.
There you go. So
I think I'm having a heart attack.
I'm gonna try it.
That is an elitely small cat.
My other cat is a giant. He's not even an adult yet, and he's like 17 pounds.
Oh,
Chunky boy.
Chunky boy. I'm trying something here. I wonder. Now you got me thinking. I wonder if I can make the Real Mechanist account. If it's available. It's probably available on Twitter. I'm looking right now. And then I could turn on, let me try that. I was doing the voices in the pre-show. Let me see if, I'll turn back on that megaphone sound. That was the one that sounded check. Oh, what's it doing? Hold on.
Check. Kind of like it.
It's like BuddyBot though. I could try to imitate the Mechanist.
The Mechanist, you gotta do it in a cup.
Maybe if I turn the...
Check. It's still too high.
Check. I am the Mechanist.
It's close. Anyway, maybe I could do the Real Mechanist account.
Just a few more hours, Tom.
I just have to get
more hours of practice.
I just have to get it close enough, and then I have to figure out how to rap, and then I've got it. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. You guys are awesome. I love having our chats every week. Or every month, every week. That would be crazy. Every month. Thank you for being here. And, totally normal stuff going on with me, just doing my podcasts and hanging out with you guys. Some like Aperture jumped in the stream middle of the day today as I was editing content. So, if you see the account go live in the middle of the day, I'm probably editing content and hanging out and chatting with everybody. We had some really cool conversations. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next week. Thank you for being here. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one. The show is brought to you by our generous patrons at Patreon. That's the wrong button.
Hello there.
That's the wrong button.
Any questions?
That's the right. There we go. To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Also, look up the Robots Radio YouTube for videos about Fallout and other things. And check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/robotsradio.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
The Real Mechanist is not available on Twitter. It's available on Facebook. On Reddit. Got a checker.
That sucks.
You just destroyed.
No, that's not good.
Sus.
I'm Fire now thinks I'm the Mechanist. I should go. I'm Fire. I am the Mechanist. I already did the I am the Mechanist thing. I should do it again.
I hope you're proud of yourself. You made me laugh so hard I went into a mild asthma attack and I can't find my fucking inhaler.
Oh no!
Listen.
No!
If I can tell a joke so good, if I can land it so perfectly that it almost kills a friend I've had for 10 years.
I mean, that's what that means, right? When you say that joke killed.
Yeah, that's
what it means.
That's exactly what it means.
Literally kill.
Also, it's closer to like 8 years at this point, not 5.
No, I said 10 years, yo. We've been friends for a decade.
Wow.
We've been friends for over a decade.
You guys are old.
I've had for over a decade. It's pretty cool.
Okay, Florida man.
Florida man. Yeah, all of those news articles are about me. I'm the Mechanist. I'm also Florida man. What else can I claim tonight? I don't know how I got all this stuff done.
If you're Florida man, you clearly know where to get bath salts.
Yes.
Elders? Brotherhood of Steel Elder? Or
Elvis?
Elder
Did you say Elvis?
No, Elder.
Tom makes bath salts in his bathtub.
That's what's left in the bathtub after I get out. Those are called bath salts.
And he packages that and sells it.
Yeah, that's I have an OnlyFans site where I just show pictures of bath salts.
Podcaster boy bath salts.
Yep. That's it. There's no other images. It's just bath salts. That's it.
No.
Gnarly.
Podcast gamer bathwater. Oh God.
Yep. It's not even the water.
I already got somebody in my stream being a creeper.
Oh no. Oh
no.
Oh.
That was like fastest ban ever.
Yeah, that happens. That happens.
Like, okay, you're disgusting. Goodbye.
Yeah. We had one the other week where somebody kept on subscribing. Was it last week, Lainey? Where somebody kept on subscribing with these like slightly lewd, or no, they were following. It's like they made an account with a slightly lewd username, and then you could tell that they like went away, made another account, and like 10-15 minutes later came back, followed under another username that was kind of lewd, and then they did it like 3 times, and eventually I just called it out. I was like, this troll is hilarious, and then they stopped doing it. And like I was like, it doesn't bother us. Like
I just want to
right.
Mom, I stopped because you kink shamed me.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So sorry I was late, guys. I had a guy literally. I had everything set up to be on time, to be ready, to have everything going. I was going to the bathroom 40 minutes before the stream started, and this guy is parked in a van next to me, and he's a fucking psychopath. And he cornered me, and he just was ranting and raving and telling me about all the millions of dollars he lost and how it all goes up towards the fucking
lizard people.
Government.
Lizard people.
It's always lizard people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the lizard people.
It's the lizard people.
Justin Trudeau fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
You find all kinds at the truck stop, and he pounded on my door twice during the stream, and
I saw you flipping out. You were like trying to look out the curtain, and then you just started shaking.
Well, that was after I fucking had to talk to him, because if I didn't, he knows I'm in here. He'd just keep knocking.
Jeez.
Dude, I have a life. Go get
Should be like, dude, on the phone. Later. Talk to the hand. Do you try that? That's timely. Have you heard that expression before, guys? That's a new one going around. You put your hand up and you say, you point at it like this and you go, talk to my hand. That's what the kids are doing.
Literally never ever heard it before.
No?
You're a genius.
No, that's what the kids are doing.
Trendsetter.
Oh,
Damn, I got
cool.
a bag full of stuff
That's
next
cool.
time you're around.
Nice.
Wow.
Caps.
I don't have cool stuff. I've got googly eyes.
I got these googly eyes.
All right. See you later. Yeah, I'm going to get going too. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a good rest of your night.
You too.
Oh, hey, Tom, if I do send you a recipe, will you, for a Fallout-themed recipe, put it up?
Will I do what?
Recording.
Put it on.
If I send you a recorded all the background noise eliminated and the real microphone. If I record me doing a Myler gumbo recipe, will you?
Well, would I put it on the episode? Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it at the end.
Do it like Binging with Babish, where you just film it and then you have to voice over it.
Oh, but then I actually have to make gumbo.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, the thing about doing cooking shows, and we've talked about this with Beelzebub, who's a regular. I'm trying to get him to do cooking shows because he sends me pictures of his food all the time, and he's doing like these like Fallout recipes and stuff. The thing about cooking shows is it doesn't have to taste good because nobody else will know. It just has to look good.
That's fair.
Right?
That is fair.
You can't taste the video.
Yet.
Did you guys see that video where the lady, she made an artichoke dip and she brought it on a news show? And they started eating, and they were like, "Why does it taste like vinegar?" She goes, "It's really interesting. I didn't put any vinegar in it." And then they started freaking out. It was probably one of the cruelest jokes I've ever seen, but they did it on a live.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
Oh God!
Because people were like spitting it up, and they're like, "What is it?" She's like, "I don't know. It just came out weird this time."
Awesome.
Everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna be sick."
But she's smiling the whole time and not eating it, and just watching everybody.
Wow. Yeah, that was planned.
That's evil.
She's about to quit.
Right?
Yeah, that's like right before the mic drop of quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Seen
guys.
that one too
All right, guys.
times.
Have a good night. I'll see you guys later.
Good night.
Bye.
I gotta go. Bye.
Bye, chat.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.